Hey guys, my name is Dan. This video, I want to talk about some pattern clip things you can do and some Midi routing. And and the reason that I want to go into it is because there's a couple of different ways to do things, and it's really cool to I don't know. I just haven't seen it in very many videos. People don't really do these things. I think the Midi controls are a little underrated for what you can do with them. I see a lot of people putting WAV files on their arrangement window, which is fine. It's perfectly fine. But so anyway, down here at the pattern clip, I got a couple different colors going on in here, and what that is these MIDI notes are attributed to a different MIDI channel, and the color of that MIDI channel. Up here under the pattern clips, you select that, and then you down here the colors will be the note, which is basically the channel color inside the piano roll, which is by default is green. If you choose different MIDI channels, then there's the different colors associated with those, which I'll get into in just a minute. But I thought it was really cool to select the channel color. The channel color is, and so this, just coloring them just for visual sake, right? But the cool thing is they'll show up in the pattern window, and then it's real easy to, at a glance, be able to tell if you had, in fact, put down, violins and whatever measure that you intended to. And it's just a quick way just to kind of see where what kind of instruments are playing in this section, or excuse me, in the I gotta those again. In the there we go. So it's anyway. So if you go into the pattern clip itself, and so you can see the grid out there. So and it's nice too. If you go into the settings, you can do the editable ghosts. I think that's under tools. This is tools. It's in there somewhere. Editable ghosts. But anyway, so these channels are reflective. These notes, as they show up in the pattern clips, are reflective of the channel color that you select. So it just makes it kind of handy to see, especially if you're not so good at labeling stuff, it can help aid you in that regard. So the other thing I wanted to that I alluded to earlier is the channel, the MIDI channel settings, and you can, let's see. So you got the different colors here, right? And so these, if you chose one of whatever MIDI channel in the pattern in the piano roll, and you went over to the arrangement window and selected on the notes, then the colors in the pattern clips would show you what MIDI channels they're actually going to. So however you kind of want to do that. The only limitation with using the piano roll to send out to the 16 different MIDI channels is that without a MIDI controller, it's hard to automate many of the parameters that are in these plugins like East-West. Actually, if you select here, you can browse parameters. Excuse me, not there. That browses parameters on the side of the screen. There's a way to do it. I thought that there was a way to do it. Maybe there's not a way to do it. So if we go back over to the other monitor, then so these are a list of all the MIDI controllers. These don't have any specific controller. CC is continuous controller. So down here, these continuous controllers here will have the number of whatever it is that you want to automate. Number 7 is the volume. So let's see if we can. There we go. Yeah, main volume. So the thing about the piano roll is that the instruments like instrument plugins like East West, when you have quieter velocities chosen for, let's say, brass instruments, they sound a whole lot different than if you choose high velocity values for brass instruments. Let's see if we can, if I can, I can't, where's the trumpet? That's a good one. So that's number 9. So if we actually go to number 9 here, trumpet, that's not it. That's not it. Oh, that's right. And the other thing you have to do is you have to choose the original plugin. Now you can go to this, and then now it's a. So it can do it. You can be in any pattern clip. It doesn't matter what pattern clip in your arrangement window, but you just have to go to your plugins window, or it's basically its layer, and then you just note whatever MIDI channel goes to whatever instrument you configured. As long as you haven't, if you went and you loaded a second East-West and put and set an additional port, then you wouldn't be able to get access to all those, at least not in a way that I know of, through the piano roll. It only works through the default port, I guess. And anyway, so, and then you can. So here, I'm going to play the trumpet in a quiet. But if I play it loud, you see how it changed? So a lot of these plugins will have these timbre changes based on loudness to emulate the actuality of how an instrument would sound based on how loud it's played. So anyway, so these velocity values down here are indicative of selecting those different samples to be appropriately played. And so in some cases, and even in my my project here, there's some instruments that, like the trumpet or any brass instruments, that you want the softer sound to come out of, but they need to be a little bit louder, and you can't. And so it's going to be quieter because you got low velocity values selected, right? Well, so it's hard to, beyond having the, so you can anyway with these controllers. What window am I on? I'm probably talking to the wrong thing. Let's go back to the main one. So with these controllers, you can adjust the volume and have it at least as loud as possible, and then beyond that, actually, you like either a EQ2 or a limiter. You can just throw the gain up when it's quieter, so that way the quieter sounds with the more desirable timbres are going to be heard. So I hope that I was able to explain the MIDI routing. Oh, and you're going to want to be sure that if you ever went and wanted to just try some instruments out just to see how they heard or how they sounded or whatever, and you selected the different MIDI channel, you'll want to go back to 1, because what this will do when you change this color, it changes all of the piano rolls output channel. And like if it's on 5 right now, okay? If I go and try to play, anything that's associated with the East-West won't play. Or hey, it turned back to, there it goes. I guess I'm wrong about that. Sometimes, let's see, do I not have? Oh, it's if I go to the original, no, I have to go to the original. Okay, if I'm on the original, no, it does work. I had it, there was an instance before where it didn't want to work, and I was trying to, anyway. So, anyway, there is a thing in there where if you have this channel output to the one that you didn't ordinarily use, then they won't work. But MIDI routing can be rather finicky actually. Okay, so All right, we'll get, wait, I really hope what window? I'm on the other window. Okay. Does not like to bring my camera over unless I disable it for a second. The other thing that's really cool that I wanted to show real quick that was kind of cool that you can do with MIDI that makes it a little harder to do without doing more work with WAV files is the ability to, like, let's see, in these samples, these are instruments, these are percussions. I think the top, it's like it's because I have them listed under the samples, instruments, audio. This project is all over the place. Please bear with me for a second. Yeah, concert snares at E, B, and then bass drums on D. Hats, I think, is one above it. But basically, whoops. If we go over to the other, I'll go over to the other window again. Piano roll. I got these different. So I got these different notes selected playing, and so this is the concert snare, and then this is the bass drum, and basically the root note is like C5 or something like that. And so, but if you use the same pattern clip to play all of your percussive instruments, all of your samplers, because these all run either a straight audio sampler or sampler, and so, but basically they all respond to MIDI. So what you do is you right click. See how I have right click? The B is selected for blue. So this is the hat. So with the hat, later in the, darn it, I'm having a lot of trouble with this window thing. Where, okay, I think was that the right window? Yeah, so this is the thing. So I got here it is, the B, and oh my goodness, this is not. So that way it plays the root note at this note position so that you can have them skewed apart from each other in the piano roll so that you can see them and see the ghosts, and then that way you know if you have because it's easy enough to put a note in there and have it one note off a 16th step or whatever, just because it's just where you clicked. But so it's handy to see that, and so you'll set so that way you can use the one pattern clip to run all your percussive stuff. Keeps your arrangement window more confined, and it's because on bigger projects it's easy to get lost in what you did, and especially if you spent a few weeks, you can't remember where you might have put your other automation clips. If you have to make automation clips, you have to position them all over your arrangement window to be around wherever pattern clips of the instruments that you're affecting. So so the cool thing that I was trying to get to about the pattern clips with the different instruments and the sounds. Let's see. Let me get up that. Like I did it with the concert snare actually, and this is just an audio sampler. This is like the most basic sampler. Like it's still a sampler, but so this is a sampler. This is an audio sampler, and the configuration panel, and this is sampler, and so there's your difference right there. And it's if you go to the wave, you know, this portion, there's like a few less things. I'm not sure why Image Line was like, I mean, I would just been like, what, just auto sampler it if you drop an audio, or, you know, just open up a fresh sampler, but whatever. And then the sampler gives you the option for some wave shaping right here if you want, and a little bit of filtering, a filter built in there. So it's pretty handy to have actually sometimes if a tail's too long on something, you can shorten the tail, and it's pretty cool. But you can't do that on a regular audio sampler. which you could. I don't know why they made a difference in the programming. But anyway, so the thing, so you got the snare drum that sounds really cool, and you got the one snare sound. Uh, so E. So, well, you know, so people talk about layering. I'm going to layer my drums so they sound really cool. And, well, if you're using a sampler and you're using Midi, you can add like 4 notes and so you can make them sound pretty unique and pretty cool, and uh, and of course with that too, if you're in the piano roll, in your instruments, you can still put, even though the root, you're setting the root notes to be where the root notes are so that you can get the natural sound to come out, right? But also at the same time, you can write where. So let's say it sounds too thin or whatever. Actually, let's get the percussion. Get out of the way, you. I'm probably on the other. Am I on the right window? I think I'm still in the right window. Yeah, I am. Okay, so what you can do, and then a quick shortcut too. If you click in, you can click drag here to select the notes, right? But if you click on the key, all the notes in that, all the notes on that note are selected. And then so shift left click. I don't know where that came from. Oh, that's what I did. Okay. So there we go. So you can make it, you know, make a lower snare pitch go in there, and then what you can do is be like, oh no, you know, the low's too low or too loud or whatever. You can adjust the velocity. Now you notice that they had this note up right here, but it's a way to humanize the sound. Amongst all the other instruments being played, you actually don't notice it so much, but it just gives a hint. It's almost like an unconscious sound that happens that makes it sound more realistic. So sometimes it's helpful to do that too. If there's a certain note pitch that happens within the other instruments, you can pitch change your percussion a little bit so that you can alleviate any dissonance that might happen. So that's just a little FYI there for you. But anyway, so yeah, pattern clips and pattern windows and the ability to send MIDI channels and different ways to manipulate data. So this is now, if you watch this far into the video, you get to hear a little bit of my song. I don't know if you are really going to enjoy it or not, but I'm play part of it. And I'm kind of a symphonic artist, or an aspiring artist. Anyway, enough of that. Lots of. I haven't even really started mixing this. This is just kind of notes down, writing notes to make melodic sequences. So anyway, thanks for watching. And I know that I didn't stay quite on track with my Windows, but anyway, hope you guys found some use from this. Thanks. Have a good day.